Okay, here we are. Yeah, I don't even know if I could shovel. Okay, yeah. So here's the field. I don't know if you could tell, but so I'm not gonna let the state of my environment not let me train. So I'm taking matters into my own hands, and I'm gonna show you a full training session to get a lot of touches in and to still stay sharp, even when it is snowing and cold and feels like -20. Okay, let's get into it. Hi everybody.
Hi.
This is Mags. A little quick introduction. We played together at Pitt.
Ja.
Tell us a fun fact about yourself.
I speak 3 languages.
Nice.
4, maybe 5.
Nice.
French, Spanish, English, Portuguese a little, Italian a little.
Okay. Flex. She's attacking mid. And can play anywhere in the top 5. In the front. You can play anywhere in the front 5.
To a certain extent.
Okay, we're gonna do a little session right now.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
To start off this training session, Mags and I are just honestly just kicking around, having fun, catching up, casually just getting touches, nothing crazy, trying to warm up the body a little bit and just talking. You know, girls like to talk, so we're talking. You even see here we start to juggle just to get the body a bit more active and moving a bit. And here we're making a pinky promise, which I won't tell you what that is about because I pinky promised. But okay, then we start getting into two-touch. Here I'm explaining the game and the rules of two-touch. If you know anything about me, you know I love myself a good game of two-touch. You see me play this on TikTok as well. I posted some TikToks about it if you follow me there. Slight plug, but anyway, so the rules of two-touch, basically. So like the name suggests, you have 2 touches to get the ball back to your partner. So 1 to receive and 1 to pass back. If you receive it with your left foot, in this game we decided that we would play it back with the right foot and vice versa. If you receive it with your right, you would play it with your left. But you can take a touch with any part of your body. It's just if you take it with one foot, the next touch has to be with the other foot. So whenever you mess up, you get a letter. So the word that we're trying to spell is pit, P-I-T-T. So let's say I mess up, I get the letter P. If I spell the word pit, if I get 4 letters, that means I lose the game. So, as you can see here, that is exactly what I did. Also, something I didn't mention is that when you lose a point, you start with the ball in your hands and you throw the ball to the other person. But it's very fun. Look at us rally right now. It's very fun doing this with someone that's competitive as well because you get a lot of touches and also your touch is challenged. So it's fun having a partner like Mags in this training session because we both want the best for each other. So we both want to challenge each other in ways that can help us grow. We're giving each other hard passes to deal with, but we're also giving each other easy passes to deal with. We're trying to mix it up. At least that's what I was doing to make sure that we can get our touch clean and emphasize our technique. Because look, we get some good rallies up in here. Look at that. Look at me getting upset. So this next drill we did was two-touch again, but it was more of a collaborative two-touch instead of a competitive against each other type of two-touch game. So it looks easy, but it's actually harder than it looks. Because the distances were longer, you had to really focus on your technique and giving a nice pass to the other player. So we took a while to get this one, honestly, but it was rewarding because at the end we were starting to get a little bit better. But I think with training with someone else, you have to find someone that is willing to go through these mistakes with you and make them with you. When you train by yourself or with someone else, if you're not making any mistakes, that means you're not actually getting much out of it because they're probably too easy, your training sessions. And they're probably keeping you in your comfort zone because in your training sessions, they should be hard. So the games feel easy. And when I say hard, I don't mean go crazy physically all the time, but I mean challenge yourself in different ways. The source of inspiration for this drill was actually Phil Foden and Grealish. So for this next drill, we're both midfielders, so we wanted to make a little reaction type drill. As you can see, the walls are labeled 1, 2, and 3. What would happen for this first round is that Mags, in this case, would call out 1, 2, or 3, and that is where I would play my pass. So it's good because in a game, you're not going to just be reacting to nothing. You're going to be reacting to the opponent. So now we are reacting to each other's calls. So when it's Mags' turn, now it's my turn to call the numbers. And you could play with it too. You could call the number late. You could call the number early just to make it a little bit difficult for the other person. But I'd say we did around 1 minute of this and then did a couple rounds each. So you'll see we have other variations of this drill. But what I like about this drill so much is that you get to think quick. So, like I said before, the game is all about thinking quick and reacting quick. So this is a great warm-up into our other segments we got going on. But I will say, Mags and I didn't plan this. We didn't have this written out beforehand. I think it's cool because we're smart enough to plan drills on the fly. And to give you a little behind the scenes on how we plan sessions, basically we say, what do you want to work on? And we say some ideas. And with that answer, we make up a drill on the spot. Sometimes I do have things planned in my head of things we could do, but I think it's fun when you could be creative and just allow each other to have a bit more freedom with that. So to give you an example of our creativity here, I think this was Mag's idea, great idea. We're using our different languages to make a variation of this drill. So whenever I say a number in English, it would be 1 touch. So I said 1 right there, so she took 1 touch. If the number is called in French, that means you take 2 touches. So here, Mags says the word 3 in French, so I took 2 touches towards the number 3 wall, and so on and so forth. To make it even harder as well, we added number 4, which is an open up. You see me do that right there, to either side, and then you just play to the wall. So this drill really was difficult. It was fun, but in the beginning, it was difficult. Mags and I were confused. But once we got the hang of it, it was so rewarding because once you get the hang of it, you could just flow through the drill. And you realize that sometimes thinking even more makes things even harder. So I think we both did a good job. I think Mags killed this drill. She did really well. So for this next variation, we imagined that there was an imaginary box around because we didn't have cones. So we used our imagination, and when I would call the number in French, what would happen is you would take a touch around this imaginary box. So for example, I said the number 1 in French, so she had to take her touch towards the number 1 wall outside of this imaginary box. But if I said the number in English, what would happen is you would have to take a one-touch pass towards that wall. So for example, let's say you hear me say the number 1 in English. Well, you'll do exactly what Mags is going to do right now and play a one-touch pass to the wall like that. Got Mags doing a brain. It's been 5 hours. I hope you enjoyed that session with Mags. It was so fun. I'd say a message to my future kids is stay creative. Stay creative in the fact where it's like, even though that there is not the perfect ideal situation right now to train in, at least for me, that's my situation right now. Still gotta be creative and find a solution. So always make sure that your first no that you get isn't your last. Don't make it your last. Got to make sure that I find a different way to solve the solution and not take no from this field for an answer and find another way. But thank you so much for following along, and I will see everybody in the next video. Ooh, I just got snow in my boots. Au revoir!